2 Esdras, also known as 4th Ezra, is a huge puzzle piece for understanding the end times. It was included in the 1611 King James, the 1599 Geneva Bible, and was quoted by our Savior himself, YHWH HaMashiach. Join us as we conduct a Berean study that is a line-by-line approach to this book that confirms the scriptures we are versed in and expounds on concepts not previously understood. This is the unsealing prophecy revealed in the last times. Welcome, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the Parable of the Vineyard and Christian Truthers live stream. My name is Adam Fink. I'm your host. Justin will not be with us tonight, but he's with us in spirit. So welcome back. Hopefully you were with us with part one. Just to review, in part one, we compared the words of Yahushua in Matthew 21 and Matthew 23 and how they are nearly verbatim, which is, it's no surprise because obviously Yahushua is the word. We learned about the parable of the vineyard, which I'm sure you guys know I'm pretty fond of and familiar with, and the rebuking of the Pharisees. We saw some connections to First Enoch, and we saw a vision of the 144,000 and great multitude that is not found anywhere else and complements what we know from Revelation 7 and 14 and expounds on even more to give us a fuller picture. Who they are, how they came out of the world, walked in the law, Torah, if you will, and confessed the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. It was an awesome episode. If you're tuning in now and did not watch part one, I highly recommend it. It's so confirming that this is an inspired book. We're to read it, and again, the last part, the 144,000 great multitude, it really unlocks the whole thing, in my opinion. So in general, this book, again, is the biggest missing piece of the 144,000. Why they're sealed. Honestly, some of the most beautiful words from Yahuwah. This book, Ezra in general, reminds me of Job. Just so many questions, just question after question, and finally Yah answers and is like, "Tell me this, this, and this," and they're like, "Okay, I don't know anything." So the hard questions are answered. What happens to someone as soon as they die? We get a bigger picture of the fourth beast, the Roman Empire, that was shown to Daniel, but in more detail in this book. This book actually also tells us why the books were hidden by Yah, and again, the most detailed description of the tribulation. So it was an awesome episode. If you did not watch it, definitely need to go back and watch that one. It was really awesome. So tonight this is part 2, and we're going to be in chapters 3, 4, and 5. And for those of you that have a Sefer, we are going to be reading from the Sefer. I'm really glad that we made the switch over. If you're interested in a copy of the Sefer, it's always located in the description box below on any video. So before we get started, I'm just going to say a quick word of prayer, and we will get right into it. So Heavenly Father, Yahuwah, we just come before you in Yahushua's name, your son, who's made all this possible. We thank you so much for salvation, of course. And we just thank you for being in these times when these books are unsealed. And we just look to grow together. And I pray that you open all of our eyes and ears so that we may hear your word clearly, correctly, and that we all may grow thereby. So in Yahushua's name we pray. Amen. All right. Because of recent technical difficulties, I want to just pull up the chat real quick and make sure everything is working before I get too far in. Okay, everything looks good. So we are going to dive right into chapter 3. And let's get going. Let's see who's in here tonight. Aaron James, Jason T, Josh Muglia, David Shearer, Journey Back Homestead. Awesome. Yahushua's disciple. All right, Ray Perkins, what's going on, bro? Oh, Celio, what's going on, bro? Welcome. All right. Yep, working good. Let's go. Let's jump in. Let us jump. Okay. And again, thanks to Dr. Pigeon for allowing us to put these scriptures so that we can screen share them. And also thank you to Brother Dave for getting this website set up. All right, so we're going to jump to chapter 3. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Okay, whatever. I'll just scroll a little bit. All right, chapter 3. And again, what we just finished in chapter 2 was the whole vision on Mount Sion when Ezra saw the 144,000 and great multitude. So, chapter 3. In the 30th year after the ruin of the city, I was in Babel and lay troubled upon my bed, and my thoughts came up over my heart. For I saw the desolation of Sion and the wealth of them that dwelt in Babel. And my ruach was sore moved, so that I began to speak words full of fear to El Elyon, and said, O Yahuwah Adonai, you spoke at the beginning when you did plant the earth, and that by yourself alone, and commanded the people, and gave a body unto Adam without soul, which was the workmanship of your hands, and did breathe into him the breath of life, and he was made living before you. And you led him into paradise, which your right hand had planted, before the earth came forward. And unto him you gave commandment to love your way, which he transgressed, and immediately you appointed death in him and his generations, of whom came nations, tribes, peoples, and kindreds out of number. So I just want to stop here real quick. Going back up right here. So Ezra's upset, and honestly, rightly so, because he just doesn't understand, which obviously verse in the word he should, because Israel and Judah both reaped what they sowed. They transgressed the commandments of Yah. The prophets came, told them, warned them, and they didn't turn, and so they were taken into captivity. But right here, and we're going to see this a little bit later on in this chapter, the wealth of them that dwelt at Babel. So one thing to look at is Psalm 37. Fret not yourself because of evildoers. Be not envious of wrongdoers, for they will soon fade like the grass and wither like the green herb. Basically, especially in our world right now, I mean, who's in control? Who has the wealth? Who has the power? Is it the people of Yah, or is it the heathen? The ones that control the money, the ones that put usury on us, the ones that honestly have us in a form of captivity. Some of us pay 20, 30, 40, 50% in taxes. Some even more than that. To what? A modern day Egypt. It's no different. They prosper because of their greed. And for many times, they're not punished. And we'll see why just a little bit later. Let's read verse 7 again. And unto him you gave commandment to love your way, which he transgressed, and immediately you appointed death in him and in his generations, of whom came the nations, tribes, people, and kindreds out of number. And every people walked after their own will, and did wonderful things before you, and despised your commandments. And again, in process of time, you brought the flood upon those that dwelt in the world, and destroyed them. Well, we know that happened, obviously, with the flood. And it came to pass in every one of them that as death was to Adam, so was the flood to these. Nevertheless, one of them you left, namely Noah with his household, of whom came all righteous men. And it happened that when they had dwelt upon the earth, began to multiply, and had gotten them many children, and were a great people, they began again to be more wicked than the first. And this is a direct correlation to the Tower of Babel with Nimrod. Nimrod had the first new world, or not new world order. He had the first world order where he brought all people into him and controlled all the people. And they were just wicked, continually. He reintroduced idol worship and many other things. I apologize. My next door neighbor is cutting the grass now. It's pitch dark. I don't know how he's doing it. Oh, okay. Now, when they lived so wickedly before you, you did choose you a man from among them, whose name was Avraham. Him you loved, and unto him only you showed your will, and made an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that you would never forsake his seed. And unto him you gave Yitzchak, it's Isaac, right? And unto Yitzchak you also gave Yaakov, Jacob, and Esau. As for Yaakov, you did choose him to you, and put by Esau. And so Yaakov became a great multitude. And it came to pass that when you led his seed out of Mitzrayim, Egypt, you brought them up to Mount Sinai. And bowing the heavens, you did set fast the earth, moved the whole world, and made the depths to tremble, and troubled the men of that age. So every time I see something like this, I really want to point it out, because I know there's still a lot of you that have no idea that this is even a topic out there. But once you research it, it really makes the scriptures come alive. So not in my opinion, per the scriptures, only Yah can move the world. We're taught from nearly day one in school that the earth is a ball hurling through space, spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, hurling at breakneck speeds, traveling around the sun. And that is in direct opposition to what the word of Yah says. And this is just one example of many. There's hundreds. Psalm 104:5, who laid the foundations of the earth, that it should not be moved ever. Ever. Only Yah can move it. And again, there's a foundations of the earth. Anybody that knows anything about homes, buildings, there's a foundation that supports it, right? Pillars, foundations. We have, stem walls. We have footers. We have, things that support a building. And that's exactly what this is. It's a building. So once again, it should not be moved ever. But we know that Yah moves it with earthquakes. And made the depths to tremble, and troubled the men of that age. Oh, and just to button this up, so if you'd like to test this, there's tons of videos out there. I do suggest, I really like Rob Skiba's Amsterdam presentation, if you want to get an idea of what the scriptures really say about the biblical earth that we live on, a geocentric earth. And your glory went through the four gates of fire, and of earthquake, and of wind, and of cold, that you might give the Torah unto the seed of Yaakov, and diligence unto the generations of Yisrael. And yet took you not away from them a wicked heart, that your Torah might bring forth fruit in them. So again, always wanting to use scripture to interpret scripture. And really, for a lot of you that have been with us for a while, you're probably tired of hearing this verse, but I have to share it. I mean, it is the decipherer. And we also know from the parable of the vineyard, again, that, Israel was, they were kicked out for what? Not obeying the commands. They weren't bringing forth fruit in their due season. So Yeshua asked the Pharisees, after he told the story that the vineyard, there was a hedge put around it, a fence of protection, right? Or yeah, I think I said that right. Yeah, a fence of protection, and put a tower in it, and a wine press, right? And so they were to tend the vineyard and bring forth the fruit in their due season, which is that was a pattern, or a metaphor for bringing forth fruit out of the Torah. And so we know that they didn't. They were kicked out, and the prophets were sent to them. They killed one, stoned another, and beat another one up. Then the son was sent, and they killed him and kicked him out of the vineyard, right? And so Yeshua asked the Pharisees, what's the master of the vineyard going to do when he comes back? And they said, he will miserably destroy them, and give the vineyard to a nation, or give it to people that'll bring forth fruit in their due season. And we know how that worked out. So let's just take a look real quick at Psalm 1. So again, if you've been with us for any length of time, you know Psalm 1 pretty well, but I have to, just because we need to understand what the fruit Yah is looking for. Psalm 1. Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law, the Torah of YHWH. And in his Torah doth he meditate day and night. The word for law here is Torah, by the way. Now listen, here's the fruit. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth, he shall prosper. So the bringing forth of the fruit, right, is because his delight is in the law, and in the law doth he meditate day and night. And when you do that, you will bring forth fruit. Okay. Right? And so here we go. And yet took you not away from them a wicked heart, that your Torah might bring forth fruit in them. So that's exactly what this is talking about. And, in another verse I was thinking about just now, and yet you took away not from them a wicked heart. I think it's in Deuteronomy. Oh, that you would have a heart. Yeah, here we go. Deuteronomy 5:29. Oh, that there were such a heart in them, that they would fear me and keep all my commandments always, that it might be well with them and with their children forever. So I see that as a direct connection right here. And yet took you not away from them a wicked heart, that your Torah might bring forth fruit in them. So this is a foreshadow of what was to come, which was to give us circumcised hearts, so that he can put his Torah on our hearts, so that we'd actually do it. For the first Adam, bearing a wicked heart, transgressed and was overcome, and so be all they that are born of him. Thus infirmity was made permanent, and the Torah also in the heart of the people with malignity of the root, so that the good departed away and the evil abode still. Verse 23. So the times passed away and the years were brought to an end. Then did you raise up a servant called David, whom you commanded to build a city unto your name, and to offer incense and oblations unto you therein. When this was done many years, then they that inhabited the city forsook you, and in all things did even as Adam and all his generations had done, for they also had a wicked heart. And so you gave your city over to the hands of your enemies, right? He warned them. He warned them time and time again, right? Why? Because they did not keep his Torah. They did not keep his commands. So then Ezra asks, right? Are their deeds then any better that inhabit Babel, that they should therefore have dominion over Sion? So Ezra's like, I hear you, but why would you put us into the hands of Babel? Are they better than us? I mean, are they more righteous than us? I don't get it, right? Because then he goes on to say, for when I came thither and had seen impieties without number, then my soul saw many evildoers in the 30th year, so that my heart failed me. So once again, so we'll get the answer here in a little bit, but once again, the evil seem to prosper sometimes without any rebuke, without any chastisement, without any consequences sometimes, and it just doesn't seem fair. So this is an interesting passage from Job. Then Job answered and said, keep listening to my words, and let this be your comfort. Bear with me, and I will speak. And after I have spoken, mock on. As for me, is my complaint against man? Why should I not be impatient? Look at me and be appalled, and lay your hand over your mouth. When I remember, I am dismayed, and shuddering seizes my flesh. Why do the wicked live, reach old age, and grow mighty in power? Their offspring are established in their presence, and their descendants before their eyes. Their houses are safe from fear, and no rod of God is YHWH is upon them. Their bull breeds without fail. Their cow calves and does not miscarry. They send out their little boys like a flock, and their children dance. They sing to the tambourine and the lyre, and rejoice to the sound of the pipe. They spend their days in prosperity, and in peace they go down to Sheol. They say to Yahuwah, depart from us. We do not desire the knowledge of your ways. What is the Almighty that we should serve him? And what profit do we get if we pray to him? Behold, is not there prosperity in their hand? The counsel of the wicked is far from me. How often is it that the lamp of the wicked is put out, that their calamity comes upon them, that Yahuwah distributes pain in his anger, that they are like straw before the wind, and like chaff that the storm carries away? You say, Yahuwah stores up their iniquity for their children. Let him pay it out to them, that they may know it. Let their own eyes see the destruction, and let them drink the wrath of the Almighty. Anyways, it keeps going on, but I think you got the point here. That's just how Yah has ordained it, right? And so he goes on, and for I have seen how you suffer them sinning, and have spared wicked doers, and have destroyed your people, and have preserved your enemies, and have not signified it. I do not remember how this way may be left. Are they then of Babel better than they of Sion? Or is there any other people that knows you besides Yashrael? Or what generation has so believed your covenants as Yaakov? So, one thing we have to realize is, well, let's just read it. This is Hebrews 12, right? Here we go. Let's start at verse 6. This is a quote from Proverbs. My son, do not regard lightly the discipline of Yahuwah, nor be weary when reproved by him. For Yahuwah disciplines the one he loves. Let that sink in. And chastises every son whom he receives. It is for discipline that you have to endure. Yahuwah is treating you as sons. For what son is there whom his father does not discipline? If you are left without discipline in which all have participated, then you are illegitimate children and not sons. That's pretty big. And that tells us everything. That honestly tells us everything as to why wicked people, wicked nations just go on. Like there's just nothing there. Why do I'm not going to name any name drop, but why do some of these wicked politicians and people in control, why do they live to 100 years, 105 years, 90 years? Maybe partially the answer is probably because they drink blood, as they're told not to. And many say that lengthens life, the fleshly life, that is. Or it's part of this right here. Yah is not chastening them. He's not punishing them. Why? Because boy, oh boy, it's coming. It is coming. Then they'll look back at everything they did. We are his sons and daughters. Israel is his son. Exodus 4:22. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith Yahuwah, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. So that's why. Sorry, it's not funny. All right. So we left off verse 31. So 2 Ezra 3, verse 32. Or is there any other people that knows you besides Yashrael? Or what generation has so believed your covenant? Oh, I read this. I'm sorry. Covenants is Yaakov. So verse 33. And yet their reward appears not, and their labor has no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I see that they flow in wealth, and think not upon your commandments. So this is just more of what we were just talking about right now. Why do they prosper? Again, why? Because they're not his sons. And he has care less to reprove them. These people serve Satan, and they'll get theirs. Weigh therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell in the world, and so shall your name nowhere be found but in Yashrael. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in your sight? Or what people have so kept your commandments? You shall find that Yashrael by name has kept your precepts, but not the heathen. Right? And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer and said, "Your heart has gone too far in this world, and think you to comprehend the way of El Elyon?" Then I said, "Yea, my lord." And he answered me, and I said, "I am sent to show you three ways, and to set forth three similitudes before you. Set forth three similitudes before you. Whereof, if you can declare me one, I will show you also the way that you desire to see. And I shall show you from whence the wicked heart comes." And I said, "Tell on, my lord." Then said he unto me, "Go your way, weigh me the weight of fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past." Then I answered and said, "What man is able to do that you should ask such a thing of me?" And he said unto me, "If I should ask you how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginnings of the deep, or how many springs are above the expanse, or which are the outgoings of paradise, perchance you would say to me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into Sheol, neither did I ever climb up into heaven." So I just want to make a little note here. It's really interesting. You guys might have remembered me mentioning it maybe last week or before, but there's something really interesting about the connections between Second Esdras and Second Baruch. It, if you guys remember, it's very similar to how Second Peter and Jude are like almost one book. They could literally go parallel side by side, and that seems to be the case for Second Esdras and Second Baruch. So check this out. A couple things to see here. I thought this was pretty neat. So Uriel asked him a couple questions, right? He wants him to weigh the weight of fire, measure the blast of the wind, call again the day that is past. He also talks about the great dwellings in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginning of the deep, right? Or how many springs are above the expanse. So really interesting. Check this out. Actually, I'm going to read this whole chapter. It's really good anyways. It's pretty short. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see this. I know this is tiny text. Oh, too big. 200 is good. So this is Second Baruch 59. "And the fourth bright waters which you have seen, that is the coming of Moshe, and of Aaron, and of Miriam, and of Joshua, and of the son of Nun, and of Caleb, and all those who are like these. For at that time the lamp of the eternal Torah, which exists forever and ever, illuminated all those who sat in darkness. This lamp will announce to those who believe the promise of their reward, and to those who deny the punishment of the fire which is kept for them. But also the heavens will be shaken from its place at that time, that is, the heavens which are under the throne of YHWH, the Mighty One, were severely shaken when he took Moshe with him. For he showed him many warnings together with the ways of the Torah, and the end of time also to you, and then further also the likeness of Zion with its measurements, which was to be made after the likeness of the present sanctuary." Now listen to this. This is really interesting. We just read this, right? So again, remember the weight of fire, like, right? How do you weigh out the weight of fire, right? Interesting. But he also showed him at that time the measures of fire, the depths of the abyss, the weight of the winds, the number of the raindrops. We just saw that right here, right? He's asking him, weigh the weight of fire, measure me the blast of wind. This one's not there, right? And then right here, the beginnings of the deep. I just thought this was so interesting. The measures of fire, the depths of the abyss, the weight of the winds, the number of the raindrops. Really interesting. Oh, here. We'll keep reading. "The suppression of wrath, the abundance of long suffering, the truth of judgment, the root of wisdom, the richness of understanding, the fountain of knowledge, the height of the air, the greatness of kingdom paradise, the end of the periods, the beginning of the day of judgment, the number of offerings, the worlds which have not yet come, the mouth of hell, the standing place of vengeance, the place of faith, the region of hope, the picture of the coming punishment, the multitude of the malachim, that's angels, which cannot be counted, the powers of the flame, the splendor of lightnings, the voice of the thunders, the orders of the chief malachim, the treasuries of the light, the changes of the times, and the inquiries into the Torah. These are the fourth bright waters which you have seen. I just thought that was so cool that it's literally just, almost the same book sometimes. So interesting. All right. So again, so the angel, just to recap, because I went off on a little trail. So again, Ezra is like, why is this happening? Why did that happen? Why does Babel have control of us? And so Uriel says, I'll answer these questions, but I'm going to give you some questions first. And Ezra's like, I don't know how. This again reminds me of Job, when Job was just like tearing his heart out. Like, I don't understand. When he was praying unto Yah, he's like, I don't understand. Why? What have I done wrong? And finally he comes down in a whirlwind, right? He comes down in a whirlwind and he's like, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth and laid the cornerstone? Where were you when I hung the stars in their place? When I did this, when I did that? And Job's like, I don't know anything. Forgive me for asking. I don't know anything, right? Ezra reminds me of Job a lot. And the further we get into this book, you'll see a lot more of this. Really cool. So this is Ezra speaking. Then I answered and said, what man is able to do that you should ask such things of me? Oh, I'm sorry. We already read that. Okay, so he's asking him all these different things. And then the angel continues to say, perchance you would say unto me, this is verse 8, say unto me, I never went down in the deep, nor as yet into Sheol, neither did I ever climb up into heaven. Nevertheless, now have I asked you, but only of the fire and wind, and of the day wherethrough you have passed, and of things from which you cannot be separated. And yet can you give me no answer of them? So he's like, you should know about fire and wind, right? In the day. He said, moreover unto me, your own things, such as are grown up with you, you can't not know. Can you not know? Or how should your vessel then be able to comprehend the way of El Elyon? And the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight. Then I said unto him, it were better that we were not at all, than that we should live still in wickedness and to suffer and to not know wherefore. So Ezra's like, we'd rather just be dead than to be here in Babylon. It's too painful. He answered me and said, this is the angel, I went into a forest, into a plain, and the trees took counsel and said, come, let us go and make war against the sea, that it may depart away before us, and that we may make us more woods. I just want to check something real quick. Yeah, okay, good. So the forest is like, let's go make battle with the water, the sea, because they want more land. Silly, right? The floods of the sea also in like manner took counsel and said, come, let us go up and subdue the woods of the plain, that there also we may make us another country. The thought of the wood was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. The thought of the floods of the sea came likewise to naught, for the sand stood up and stopped them. If you were to judge now betwixt these two, whom would you begin to justify, and whom would you condemn? I then answered and said, truly it is a foolish thought that they both have devised. For the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea also has its place to bear his floods. Then he answered me and said, you have given a right judgment, but why judge you not yourself also? For like as the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea to his floods, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth. And he that dwells above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens. So again, once again, this is almost nearly like Job, where it's like you just don't understand it's like you don't understand the depth of my knowledge, so don't question me. I understand, the Most High is like, I understand what's in heaven and below. I control everything, and we just have to understand that, period. And I'm okay with that. I don't know. How about you guys? Are you guys okay with it? We have to be. Oh my goodness. I'm just checking out the chat real quick, see what's going on here. Franken Beans. Welcome, bro. Okay. All right. All right, back to Ezra. So again, Yah understands what's above and also on earth. And this is Ezra. Then I answered and I said, I beseech you, O Yahuwah, let me have understanding. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily, namely, wherefore Yashrael is given up as a reproach to the heathen, and for what cause the people whom you have loved is given over unto the wicked nations, and why the Torah of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to no effect. Verse 24, and we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is an astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. What will he then do unto his name whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked. So Ezra's like, I'm not interested in asking about things in heaven. I'm asking about things down here. Why Israel is given over to Babel. Why the Torah has been burned. Why the covenants are gone. Everything was burned. Then he answered me and said, the more you search, the more you shall marvel, for the world hastens fast to pass away, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. But as concerning the things whereof you ask me, I will tell you. For the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then it cannot come that is sown with good. For the grain of evil seed has been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning, and how much wickedness has it brought up until this time? And how much shall it yet bring forth unto the time of threshing come? Ponder now by yourself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed has brought forth. And again, this was sowed when Adam hearkened unto his wife, and his wife hearkened unto the serpent. And they broke the one command from Yah. Don't eat this tree. Don't eat from this tree. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. We learned a lot about that in the first book of Adam and Eve, if you guys were with us. And when the ears shall be cut down, which are without number, how great a floor shall they fill? Right? Which, I think this is a direct connection to when Yeshua says that, at the end of the world, he shall take up all the tares, bind them up, and burn them. Then I answered and said, how and when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore our years are few and evil. And he answered me, saying, do not you hasten above El Elyon, for your haste is in vain to be above him, for you have much exceeded. Did not the souls also of the righteous ask questions of these things in their chambers, saying, how long shall I hope in this fashion? When comes the fruit of the floor? Comes the fruit of the floor of our reward? And unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them an answer and said, even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he has weighed the world in the balance. By measure he has measured the times, and by number he has numbered the times, and he does not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So I wanted to read this a little bit. So basically, Ezra is wanting the judgment to come sooner because he's just sick of it, which, is not, honestly, is not all too far off with how a lot of us are thinking. I mean, how many of us are sick of this world and want to be with Yah, want to be with our Savior, Yahusha, right? I do. I do. So I get it. I get Ezra. I relate to Ezra a lot. And he's like a lot of us. He's a deep thinker. He's a really deep thinker. And so I really appreciate this book. This book, I don't even know how to describe what it did to my faith and did to my understanding of the scriptures and understanding, honestly, the ways of Yah. Because again, Ezra asks the really tough questions that you just don't get in the 66 book canon. Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, this book really changed my life. It increased my faith tenfold. And I'm really glad and really thankful to present this to you all. So let's take a look at, where is it? Oh, it's, I think it's 2nd Baruch. Okay. Yeah, Baruch, once again, Baruch, very similar. Baruch talks about the hastening of the times as well. Baruch prays, as a matter of fact, to hasten the judgment. So check this out. This is 2nd Baruch again. And again, 2nd Baruch and 2 Esdras are really very similar, in my opinion. This is the layout of this website's weird, so I hope you guys can actually see it. Can I zoom in anymore? Let's see. Yeah, actually that'll work, right? So we're going to read 2nd Baruch, chapter 21. So here's the title. Baruch prays to Yah to hasten the judgment and fulfill his promise. How long will that which is corruptible remain? And how long will the time of mortals be prospered? And until what time will those who transgress in the world be polluted with much wickedness? Command therefore in mercy and accomplish all that you said you would spring, that your might may be known to those who think that your long suffering is weakness. Good point. And show to those who know not that everything has befallen us and our city until now has been according to the long suffering of your power, because on account of your name you have called us a beloved people. Bring to an end, therefore, henceforth mortality, right? So Baruch's like, let's be done with this age and let's go into the immortal age. I am so ready for it. I get it. And reprove accordingly the angel of death, and let your glory appear, and let the might of your beauty be known, and let Sheol be sealed, so that from this time forward it may not receive the dead, and let the treasuries of the souls restore those which are enclosed in them. For there have been many years like those that are desolate from the days of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, and of all those who are like them, who sleep in the earth on whose account you did say that you had created the world. And now quickly show your glory, and do not defer what has been promised by you. And when I had completed the words of this prayer, I was greatly weakened. Actually, let's see. Let's read the reply a little bit. So this is Yah replying to him for his petition for this to hasten. And it came to pass after these things that, lo, the heavens were opened, and I saw, and power was given to me, and a voice was heard from on high and said to me, Baruch, Baruch, why are you troubled? He who travels by a road but does not complete it, or who departs by sea but does not arrive at the port, can he be comforted? Or he who promises to give a present to another but does not fulfill it, is it not robbery? Or he who sows the earth but does not reap its fruits in its season, does he not lose everything? Or he who plants a plant, unless it grows till the time suitable to it, does he who planted it expect to receive fruit from it? Or a woman who has conceived, if she bring forth untimely, does she not assuredly slay her infant? Or he who builds a house, if he does not roof it and complete it, can it be called a house? Tell me that first. Again, actually, 2 Esdras and 2 Baruch are very reminiscent of Job. And I answered and said, not so, O Yahuwah, my Adonai. And he answered and said unto me, Why therefore are you troubled about that which you do not know? And why are you ill at ease about things in which you are ignorant? For as you have not forgotten the people who now are and those who have passed away, so I remember those who are appointed to come. Right? He was thinking about us before we even came. Because when Adam sinned and death was decreed against those who should be born, then the multitude of those who should be born was numbered. And for that number a place was prepared where the living might dwell and the dead might be guarded. Before therefore the number aforesaid is fulfilled, the creature will not live again, for my spirit is in the creator of life. And Sheol will receive the dead. And again, it is given to you to hear what things are to come after these times. For truly my redemption has drawn nigh, and is not far distant aforetime. So, right, we just saw that by measure he has measured the times, right? And by number he has numbered the times. And he does not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. Then I answered and said, O Yahuwah Adonai, even we all are full of impiety. And for our sakes, perchance, it is that the floors of the righteous are not filled because of the sins of them that dwell upon the earth. So he answered me and said, Go your way to a woman with child and ask her when she has fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer within her. Then said I, No, Adonai, that can she not. And he said unto me, In Sheol, the chambers of souls are like the womb of a woman. For like as a woman travails that makes haste to escape the necessity of the travail, even so do these places hasten to deliver those things that are committed unto them. From the beginning, look, what you see, what you desire to see, it shall be showed to you. Then answered I and said, If I have found favor in your sight, and if it be possible, and if I be meet, therefore, show me then whether there be more to come that is past, or more past that is to come. So he's asking, how much time has passed and how much is left. What is past, I know, but what is for to come, I know not. So Ezra's like, I know what's happened before, but I don't know what's to come. And he said unto me, Stand up upon the right side, and I shall expound the similitude unto you. So I stood and saw, and behold, a hot burning oven passed by before me. And it happened that when the flame was gone by, I looked, and behold, the smoke remained still. After this, there passed by before me a watery cloud, and sent down much rain with a storm. And when the stormy rain was past, the drops still remained. Then he said unto me, Consider with yourself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke, but the drops and smoke remain behind, so the quantity which is past did more exceed. So he's saying that more time has passed than is left. Then I prayed and said, May I live? Do you think until that time? Or what shall happen in those days? He answered me and said, As for the tokens, signs, this is a sign. As for the signs or tokens, whereof you ask me, I may tell you of them in part. But as touching your life, I am not sent to show you, for I do not know. Right? We know the angels are not all knowing. They know what Yah tells them. They're the messengers. So we'll go right to chapter 5. This might be an early night, brothers and sisters. I've actually been bedridden the last couple of days. I'm not doing very well, but I knew that we had to continue in this book, which, by the way, also I'll make another mention next week, or I'll make another mention at the end of this stream, and I'll also put a little note out, but we will not be doing a stream next Friday because we're going to be doing our Passover next Friday. And we were going to maybe think about live streaming it, but I just don't think that's going to be possible. So it looks like the stream is going to be off next week, but we'll resume the week after like normal. Chapter 5. Nevertheless, as coming the tokens, again, signs, behold, the day shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in great number. Now listen to this. And the way of truth shall be hidden. what do we know that the truth is? The truth, we know that Yahusha is the word, right? And he's the way, the truth, and the life, right? And just as a reminder, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So right here it's saying, the way of truth shall be hidden. This started, what, 200 BC, 100 BC, or I'm sorry, 100 AD, 200 AD, when, if those of you that have seen the Nazarene documentary, then you'll see exactly how it went down. But the ways of Torah were starting to be hidden at that time, and it's just multiplied until now, to where you've got, I mean, you have other believers in our Savior that literally call Torah witchcraft, and literally call Torah evil, or stepping, or what is it, fallen from grace, or just so many negative connotations. And it's unfortunate, because these are our brothers and sisters, and they're just so caught up in the doctrines of men that they just literally have no idea. Because why? Because the way of truth is hidden. And it's no wonder that, I'm not puffing ourselves up, trust me, I'm not, but there's a reason that some of us that search him with all of our heart, all of our soul, all of our mind, we're finding him. And we're finding why we learned all these things. Why did we learn about, why did we go through this journey of truth? Why did we learn about everything in this world is false? Like, literally everything in this world is false. It is a fake world. I said this a couple weeks ago in a video. I opened it up. I was like, fake food, fake healthcare, fake politics, fake news. I said fake news, right? Just everything's fake. The only thing that's true is his word. And when you don't take man's word for it, and you actually look into it for yourself, and you realize what Paul is actually saying, because Yah gave you that knowledge, then you realize that, hey, his commandments are for us. Hey, Torah is actually really good, And, not that any of us are perfect. I'll be the first one to tell you guys. If you think I'm perfect and you think I, don't ever mess up, unsubscribe. Don't watch me anymore. I'm not perfect. I am a changed creature. I will tell you that. And I know a lot of you guys are too. We're completely different than we were when we first started this journey. Now, I know there's some of you out there that have been living good most of their life. Maybe you had really good upbringing. Maybe your parents taught Torah. But it's definitely the rarity these days. Most of us were in love with the world. Most of us were taught from being a child that, we go to school, we do sports, we get good grades in high school, we go to a nice college, spend a ton of money, get educated, right? Indoctrinated. You get a good job, find a wife, you get a house, a nice big house, nice cars. Excuse me, sir. And that's the American dream, right? What a sham. What a sham. Anyways, rabbit trail. Sorry. But is the way of truth hidden these days? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a debate whether the 144,000 is a literal number or a figurative number. And I'm honestly open to both. I am. Which, if those that believe the 144,000 number is, metaphorical or whatever kind of, whatever the right phrase for that would be. If they looked into the second Esdras account, I think they'd realize that the 144,000 and the mixed multitude are, at the same time. They'd realize that, yeah, the number is way bigger than 144,000. But I do believe that those people are set apart, again, for Yah's purpose, war, if you will. But that's why I think that number is true. Why? Because, honestly, how many people believe in Yah, believe in his only begotten son, Yahusha, keep his commandments, and try to do the best they can with walking in Torah? How many? I don't think there's that many. So how grateful we should all be that he's opened up our eyes, because I don't think he allows people to come to Torah that don't have a pure heart, that aren't seeking him with all their heart and all their mind and all their soul. This is a gift. It really is. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not perfect. I'm trying to be. I really am. I really, really am. So yeah, once again, I'll repeat it. If you think I'm perfect and you're following me because you think I am, don't watch me anymore. Unsubscribe, because that's not me. It's not. I'm certainly trying though. You know, 1 John 2 says, you know, for us not to sin. But if we do, then Yahusha is, you know, he'll forgive us, right? But we're not to live in perpetual sin, continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Because, you know, a lot of Christians do that. Why? Because they're taught over and over again that we believe and that's it. You don't have to keep the commandments. That's for the Jews. Anyways, how thankful we are. How thankful we are that he's opened up our eyes to his full truth and get to learn more and more each day. So the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of belief, of faith, right? When where was it? I think it's Matthew 24. Gross. Okay. Oh, this isn't what I was thinking of, but this works too. Therefore be also ready, for in such an hour as you think not, the Son of Man cometh. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom the Lord has made ruler over his household to give them meat in their due season, right? Or, you know, this also could be fruit in their due season. Blessed is that servant whom Yahuwah, or when Yahusha, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Verily I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. Right? Okay. Verse 2. But iniquity shall be increased above that which you now see, or that you have heard long ago. I mean, this has to be true. I mean, if you just look at the state of this, you know, look at the state of this world. This world is in the clutches of Mystery Babylon, and all of her whoredoms are taught. I mean, look what Hollywood is teaching us. You know, it's all about the LGBTQ agenda. It's all about the transgender agenda. And if you haven't seen it yet, they're now trying to add pedophilia to that LGBTQ plus, right? The next step, and it's happening right now, is, you know, love is love, right? Even if you love a child, that's where they're going with this. This is the agenda. And you know, little boys dressing up as a girl, you know, stripping. You think that kind of stuff was happening back then? I don't know. Maybe. You know, yeah, I mean, you guys know the secular music. It's openly satanic. Openly. Was it even just as back in the 70s and 80s, you had to play a song backwards to hear the satanic lyrics. Now you just play it, you know, play it forward. Anyways, just madness. This world is madness. Come, Yeshua. Bo, Yeshua. Right? Okay. Yeah, so, but iniquity shall be increased above that which you now see, or that you have heard long ago. And the land that you see now to have root, you shall see wasted suddenly. So this was prophesied, you know, not Mystery Babylon, but ancient Babylon was, you know, it was prophesied that it would be a wasteland, you know, a place of jackals. And it even is today. It's just ruins. Babylon was one of the wonders of the world. They said that, there was never a city like it and never one again, ever. Wasted. But if El Elyon grant you to live, you shall see after the third shofar that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon thrice in the day. So this one's really interesting. For those of you that were with us for the Ascension of Isaiah teaching, you saw that the sun and moon was given into the hand of the wicked one. So let's read that real quick. Ascension of Isaiah chapter 4. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And now, Hezekiah and Joseph, my son, these are the days of the completion of the world. After it is consummated, Beliar, the great ruler, the king of this world, will descend, who hath ruled it since it came into being. Yea, he will descend from his firmament in the likeness of a man, a lawless king, the slayer of his mother, who himself even this king. So Beliar, if you don't remember, Beliar is another name for Satan, who has many names, Samael and many others. The Belial. He will persecute the plant which the 12 apostles of the beloved have planted. Of the 12, one will be delivered into his hands. That's Judas, right? This ruler, in the form of that king, will come. This is a weird translation. Will come, and there will come, and there will come with him all the powers of this world, and they will hearken unto him in all that he desires. And at his word, and this is what we just saw in Ezra, right? The sun shall suddenly shine again at night, and the moon thrice in the day. And at his word, this is the Antichrist. And at his word, the sun will rise at night, and he will make the moon to appear at the 6th hour. I'm just going to read a little more of this just because it's so important to understand this, right? Good refresher for you guys. And all that he hath desired, he will do in the world. He will do and speak like the beloved, and he will say, I am Yah, and before me there has been none. And all the people in the world shall believe in him. So a couple things of note I really want to talk about in that case. It says that he will come and speak like the beloved. The beloved in this book, the beloved is the term for the only begotten son, our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach. And so it says he will come and speak like him, right? And I really believe that this false gospel, this lawless religion that's being taught right now is in preparedness for the wicked one. Because we'll see here in a little bit, it says that the majority of believers in Messiah will turn to this Antichrist. Why? You don't think he's going to come condemning Torah and say, that's not for you. That was for the Jews. And look what they did with it. I mean, I'm just hypothesizing, but I don't think that's too far off. And people that hate Torah, people that hate Yah's ways and just want to believe and get a free ticket into eternity, they're going to love this guy. You think he's going to come down with big, with horns and red? No. Mm-mm. He's probably going to come with the long hair, and he's going to look like that Caesar Borgia, picture, that false image that we've all been brought up to believe. His name is he's probably going to maybe even call himself Jesus. I don't know. They're going to fool the people somehow. Let's read the rest of it. Check this out. And all the people in the world will believe in him, and they will sacrifice to him, and they will serve him, saying, this is God, and beside him there is no other. Now listen to this. And they, greater number of those who shall have been associated together in order to receive the beloved, he will turn aside after him. So what this is saying is the greater number of those who were waiting for Jesus's coming, right? Believed in Jesus, right? This lawless king will turn them aside after him. That's and there will be the power of his miracles in every city and region, and he will set up his image before him in every city. That's kind of already happening now. If that false image of Caesar Borgia Jesus, and he shall bear sway 3 years and 7 months and 27 days, right? Why this is a month and 27 days longer than what we understand about the 42 months, I'm not sure. But either way, and many believers and saints, having seen him for whom they were hoping, who was crucified, YHWH HaMashiach, after that I, Isaiah, had seen him who was crucified and ascended, and those also who were believers in him, of these few in those days will be left as his servants, while they flee from desert to desert, awaiting the coming of the beloved, right? Interesting. So we know, a lot of us know the Revelation 12 sign. The child, I believe, is the 144,000. It talks about a woman who was pregnant with a child, right? Satan was ready to devour her child as soon as it was born. She brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto Yah, into his throne. I believe this is when the 144,000 are glorified in front of the people, possibly even the mixed multitude. I'm not sure. Now check this out. Right here it says they flee from desert to desert, awaiting the coming of the beloved. Oops. And the woman, this is, in my opinion, not in my opinion, but this is the fact, the woman is New Jerusalem. And the woman fled into the wilderness or desert, right, where she hath a place prepared of Yah, that they should feed her there 1,230 days, right? That's the same 42 months. And let's see. And when the dragon saw that he was cast out into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with a remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yah, and have the testimony of YHWH HaMashiach. He's not interested in you if you're not keeping the commands. You're not keeping the commands. No threat to him. And after 1,332 days, lo, the Lord will come with his angels and with the armies of the holy ones, right? The holy ones. Armies of the holy ones. Check this out. I believe the 144,000 was written about in the very first book. And behold, he cometh. This is Messiah. And behold, he cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones. I believe this is the 144,000. It would have to be 10,000s, right? It couldn't be 100,000s. He cometh with 10,000s of his holy ones, to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh of all the works of their ungodliness which they have ungodly committed, and of all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. I believe this is the 144,000. I believe this is the 144,000 with his angels, and with his angels, right? And with the armies of the holy ones from the seventh heaven, with the glory of the seventh heaven, and he will drag Beliar into Gehenna, and also his armies. In any case, pretty interesting stuff. So back to Esdras chapter 5, we're at verse 5. This is interesting. And blood shall drop out of wood. I don't understand that. I really don't. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe this is symbolic. I don't know. And blood shall drop out of wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled, and even he shall rule, whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth. Wait, and even he shall rule, whom they look not for that dwell upon the earth. Okay, that's Yahusha, because they aren't looking for him, the heathen. And the fowls shall take their flight away together. I believe this is symbolic. I believe this is the catching away, the taking up. And the Sodomish sea, that's Sodom, the Sodom Sea, right? That's the Dead Sea. Shall cast out fish. I don't even think it has fish, so that's kind of interesting. And make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof. And there shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be oft sent out again. We've seen that happen in California quite a bit, huh? And the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. This is interesting. Could this be talking about the CRISPR technology where you can have designer babies and make them perfect? Would that not be a monster in Yah's eyes? I think so. And salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another. Salt water shall be found in the sweet. I wonder if that's a reference to woe to them, who call evil good and good evil, who make the bitter for the sweet and the sweet for bitter. It could be. And all friends shall destroy one another, right? Yeshua told us about this one, right? Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. Then shall wit hide itself, wisdom, right? Hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber, and shall be sought of many, yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinency be multiplied on the earth, which it's definitely happening. One land also shall ask another and say, is righteousness that makes a man righteous gone through you? And it shall say, no. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. To show you such tokens against signs, I have leave. And if you will pray again and weep as now and fast even days, other translations say 7 days, you shall hear yet greater things. Then I awoke, and an extreme fearfulness went through all my body, and my mind was troubled, so that it fainted. So the angel that was come to talk with me held me and comforted me and set me upon my feet. And in the second night it came to pass that Shealtiel, the captain of the people, came unto me, saying, where have you been? And why is your countenance so heavy? Know you not that Yashrael is committed unto you in the land of their captivity? Up then, and eat bread, and forsake us not, as the shepherd that leaves his flock in the hands of cruel wolves. Then said I unto him, go your ways from me, and come not nigh me. And he heard what I said, and went not from me. And in other translations it says, come not nigh to me for 7 days. I wonder why the 7 days is not here. I'll have to ask Dr. Pigeon. But anyways, other translations say, come not nigh to me for 7 days, because up here, when he's talking about fasting, it was 7 days. But in any case. Oh yeah, and here it is. And so I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping, like as Uriel the angel commanded me. And after 7 days it was so, that the thoughts of my heart were very grievous unto me. And my soul recovered the Ruach Binyah, and I began to talk with El Elyon again, and said, O Yahuwah Adonai, of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, you have chosen only one vine. And of all the lands of the whole world, you have chosen one pit. And of all the flowers thereof, one lily. And of all the depths of the sea, you have filled one river. And of all built cities, you have hallowed Sion unto yourself. So he's talking about, of course, Israel, talking about the seed of Abraham, how out of the multitudes of people, he picked one people. Not because, it was a huge nation, but because it was small. Right? So he's saying, of all the things out there, you picked Israel. Right? And why is it gone? Verse 26, and of all the fowls that are created, you have named one dove. And of all the cattle that you are made, you have provided one sheep. And among all the multitudes of people, you have gotten one people. And unto this people whom you loved, you gave one Torah that is approved of all. I wish this was true today. And now, O Yahuwah, why have you given this one people over unto a many? And upon the one root have you prepared others? And why have you scattered your only one people among many? And they which did gainsay your promises and believed not your covenants have trodden them down, right? So once again, he's like, evil people came and took away Israel. If you did so much hate your people, yet should you punish them with your own hands. Now, when I had spoken these words, the angel that came to me the night before was sent unto me. And he said unto me, hear me, and I will instruct you. Hearken to the thing that I say, and I shall tell you more. And I said, speak on, my Adonai. Then he said unto me, you are sore troubled in mind for Yasharel's sake. Love you that people better than he that made them? So he's like, do you think you love Israel more than his maker? And I said, no, Adonai, but of very grief have I spoken. For my mind pains me every hour, while I labor to comprehend the way of El Elyon, and to seek out part of his judgment. And he said unto me, you cannot. And I said, wherefore, Adonai? Whereunto was I born then? Or why was not my mother's womb then my grave, that I might not have seen the travail of Yaakov, and the wearisome toil of the stock of Yisrael? And he said unto me, number me the things that are not yet come. Gather me together the dross that are scattered abroad. Make me the flowers green again that are withered. Open me the places that are closed, and bring me forth the wind that is in them are shut up. Show me the image of a voice. Interesting, we can do that now. And then I will declare to you the thing that you labor to know. And I said, O Yahuwah Adonai, who may know these things? But he that has not his dwelling with men. As for me, I am unwise. How may I speak of these things wherever you ask me? So this is just like Job. I know this is repetitive of me. But again, when Yah was like rebuking him, he's like, tell me this, tell me that, tell me this. And Job was like, I'm nothing. I don't know anything. Verse 40. Then said he unto me, like as you can do none of these things that I have spoken of, even so can you not find out my judgment, or in the end the love that I have promised unto my people. And I said, behold, O Yahuwah, yet are you nigh unto them that be reserved till the end. And what shall they do that have been before me? Or we that be now, or they that shall come after us? And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment into a ring, or another translation says circle. Like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness for the first. So I answered and said, could you not make those that have been made and be now, that are for to come at once, that you might show your judgment sooner? So this is saying that, or actually, let's see. Okay, actually, I'll read a few more verses because I want to read another passage in 2nd Baruch that goes with this. Verse 44, then answered he me and said, the creature may not haste above the maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. And I said, as you have said unto your servant, that you, which give life to all, have given life at once to the creature that you have created, and the creature bore it, even so might it now also bear with him that now be present at once. So he's basically saying, he knows that all creation will be brought back together at once, which basically I'll show you when this resurrection happens. This is Daniel 12. So let's just read verses 1 and 2. And at that time, Michael shall stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. And it says here, and many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. So right here, some to everlasting life. So the good, right? And some to shame and everlasting contempt. So it's talking about the resurrection of the wicked and the righteous. So let's take a look at an account in 2nd Baruch. Where is it? Look at 2nd Baruch verse 50, or chapter 50. No, is it 50? Now let's read 49, 50, and some of 51. Nevertheless, I will again ask from you, O mighty one, yea, I will ask, made all things, in what shape will those live who live in your day? Or how will the splendor of those who are after that time continue? When they then resume this form of the present, and will they then, I'm so sorry, y'all, I'm just a little out of whack. Will they then resume this form of the present and put on these entrammling members, reproductive organs, right? Which are now involved in evils, and in which evils are consummated? Or will you perchance these things which have been in the world also, as also the world? He answered and said unto me, hear, Baruch, this word, and write in remembrance of your heart all that you shall learn. For the earth shall then assuredly restore the dead, right? So this is, again, Sheol giving back what, is preserved, which it now receives in order to preserve them. It shall make no change in their form, but as it has received, so shall it restore them. And as I delivered them unto it, so also shall it raise them. For then it will be necessary to show the living that the dead have come to life again, and that those who have departed have returned again. And it shall come to pass, when they have severally recognized those whom they now know, then judgment shall grow strong, and those things which before were spoken of shall come. Let's see. Yeah, let's keep reading. This is a really interesting chapter. And it shall come to pass, when that appointed day has gone by, that then shall the aspect of those who are condemned be afterwards changed, and the glory of those who are justified. For the aspect of those who act wickedly, shall become worse than it is, as they shall suffer torment. So basically, the wicked will look horrible. Also, as for the glory of those who have now been justified in my law, who have had understanding in their life, and who have planted in their heart the root of wisdom, then their splendor shall be glorified in changes, and the form of their face shall be turned into the light of their beauty, that they may be able to acquire and receive the world which does not die, which is then promised to them. For over this above all shall those who come and then lament, that rejected my law, and stop their ears, that they might not hear the wisdom or receive understanding. When therefore they see those over whom are now exalted, but who shall then be exalted and glorified more than they? They shall respectively be transformed, the latter into the splendor of angels, and the former shall yet more waste away in wonder at the visions and in the beholding of the forms. For they shall first behold and afterwards depart to be tormented. Interesting. So again, Ezra's like, if your world can hold all these people at one time, because he knows that the resurrection will be of the dead and the wicked, then he said unto me, ask. So this is his reply, and he said unto me, ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if you bring forth children, why you not together, but at one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once. So he's saying, go to a woman that's pregnant, and tell her to bring forth 10 children at once. We know with different methods of getting pregnant these days, which is an abomination, in my opinion, honestly, the intravenous, and well, I'm not going to condemn anybody that does that. I think anything that's not natural with conception is not of Yah, and that's just my opinion. And I said, she cannot, but must do it by the distance of time. Then said he unto me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it in their times. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belong to the aged, even so have I disposed the world which I created. And I asked and said, seeing you have now given me the way, I will proceed to speak before you. For our mother, of whom you have told me that she is young, draws now nigh unto age. He answered me and said, ask a woman that bears children, and she shall tell you, saying to her, wherefore are unto they whom you have now brought forth like those that were before, but of less stature? So basically, this is an interesting verse, and I don't know really exactly what to do with it, because I don't know. Basically, what this is saying is over time, people are generally smaller. Now, we can look at that two ways. We can look at it as in the beginning, in the time of Genesis 6, when the angels came down and bore giants, the giants were huge, right? And then they got smaller over time as, their seed, continued to mix with men, and that angel, I guess, DNA just dissipated over time. Or you can take it for what it is, and it just says that, we are smaller than, many generations before, which is kind of interesting because we know a lot of us are taller than our parents. So it's like, I don't know exactly how to take that. And she shall answer you, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, then when the womb fails, are otherwise. So this is first saying that also, even just, with one family, supposedly those that are born first, so let's say there's like 7 children, supposedly, the first couple children are going to be greater in stature than the children afterwards. Consider therefore also, verse 54, consider therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you. So again, now he's saying that people in Ezra's day are smaller than people from before. And so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creatures which now begin to be old and have passed over the strength of youth. Then said I, Adonai, I beseech you, if I have found favor in your sight, show your servant by whom you visit your creature. So, really interesting couple chapters. A lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff there. But like I said, I'm going to keep tonight kind of short. I'm not doing very well. I've been laid up in the bed for like 48 hours. So I might take a couple questions and then we'll keep this short. It's already been an hour and a half, so it's not that short. It's short compared to our 2.5 hour to 3 hour sessions. So yeah, but tonight I'm gonna keep it a little short. And again, just to remind you all, next week we will not be doing a stream because we have the Pesach, which I can't wait for it. Cannot wait for it. Let's see here. Any questions? I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. Actually, I'll just say shalom to a couple of you. What's going on, Erica Hubner? Josh Muglio. What's going on, bro? If you guys can keep Josh Muglia in your prayers, he's got a lot going on too. Yeah. Sherry Stadel, Corpus Christi. Thank you. Lady Rachel D. Maria. I'm sorry, Maria. Maria. I'm sorry. Maria Brewer. Damon Nugent. Jason T. Thanks for all your help, brother. Of Benjamin Doc. Welcome back, bro. Thanks for your support. Batyat Sion. Psalm 19. Always coming with the best verses in the chat. Thank you. John Williams, Linda Oster, Larry Newport. What's going on, bro? Yanni and Sophia. I love you guys. I know I have to give them a little praise in front of everybody. I'm not very good at making things, so I wanted tzitzit and I tried and it just didn't work out. So Sophia, Yanni's wife, made my tzitzit for me. So thank you, much appreciated. They're beautiful. David Shearer. I know you're supposed to make them your own. I know. I do know. Yahusha's disciple, Frankenbeans. Marina Villogian. I'm saying that wrong. Mama Sunshine. What else is in here? Aaron James. What's going on, sister? D. Young. Eric Caius. Okay. Anyways, do you guys have any questions? We went over a lot today. Ray Perkins, what's going on, bro? Oh, okay. So good call. Cynthia Raborn Tonqua says perhaps it is not physical stature, but intellectual stature. Yeah. Yeah. I can see that. Good call. Good call. Good call. Oh, what's going on, Brother Jonathan? Brother Jonathan Eisenberg. Okay. What's going on, Sister Jennifer? Good to see you. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, I'm keeping this short tonight. I need to get back into bed. So again, next week, no stream. And yeah, we'll be doing some Passover, some Pesach. We'll be eating some unleavened bread, some lamb. Anyways, love y'all. I'm going to put this. I'm going to finish up the stream with a quick little prayer, and we will be done for tonight. Thanks for joining me. Yeah. All right. Heavenly Father, Yahuwah, we just come before you again in Yahusha's name. Just thank you for the opportunity to go over these scriptures that were once hidden and have now been revealed in these last times for our growth, our edification, and to bring you more glory as it continues to build our faith as we see these scriptures interconnecting with each other and revealing so much more that was previously hidden. We pray that we can honor you, bless you, glorify you with your truth, and just continue to love you and love one another as you have called us to do. And I just pray that you show each and every one of us your will for our lives so that we not do our own will, but yours. And we love you. And again, just thank you for this opportunity to gather together as we hope and pray and cannot wait for that day where we physically gather together. So we love you. We bless you in Yahushua's name. Thank you for all you do. All right, brothers and sisters, Shabbat Shalom to you. And if you guys can do me a favor, if you guys can hit that like button or dislike button before you leave, share this if you feel led. If not, no worries. And yeah, so again, we'll not next week, but the following week we'll be right back, and we'll be doing chapters probably 6 and 7, because 7 is a very long chapter, and there's so much there. So I imagine we're probably only get through 2 chapters. So if not, we'll do 6, 7, and 8. But be ready and prepared, and yeah, that's it. So Shabbat Shalom to you all, and love you, and we'll see you 2 weeks. All right, Shalom.